Let's talk about the absolute value function. Here is the graph. Notice the V shape. The absolute value function is a piecewise function. F of x equals x. In other words, y equals x for those x's greater than 0. This line has a positive slope. F of x equals 0 or y equals 0 when x is 0. Or we have the line y equals negative x, a line with a negative slope, and this is true for those x's less than 0. Let's go back and look at the graph. Sure enough, when x is 0, the graph is at 0. And for all of these positive x's, I do have a line with a positive slope. And for all of the negative x's, I do have a line that has a negative slope. We can also plug in values for x and solve for y to get several points for our graph. If x is negative 2, we will have y equals the absolute value of negative 2, which is simply 2. What about if x equals negative 1? We will have y equals the absolute value of negative 1, which is equal to 1. If x equals 0, we will have y equals the absolute value of 0, which is simply 0. And I can continue plugging in numbers for x and solving for y. Let's plot a few of those points. Negative 2, 2. Negative 1, 1. 0, 0. 1, 1. 2, 2. This is our absolute value function. Now let's investigate this function a little more. The vertex of this absolute value function is the point 0, 0. The axis of symmetry is the line x equals 0. Now remember, the axis of symmetry is a line. And the axis of symmetry of this function is the line x equals 0. Well, what about the domain? Remember, the domain are my x's. And as my x's move from the left to the right, you will see that the domain of this function is all real numbers. Well, let's talk about the range, the y's. It appears that the absolute value function doesn't have any negative y values. My function does not begin until I have a y equal to 0. Then as my y's continue to increase, I do have y values on my function. So the range is the set of all real numbers greater than or equal to 0. Or I could say y greater than or equal to 0. So that is a few facts about our absolute value function.